Alright, what's up, y'all? So today we're gonna be kind of discussing Sissoo spinach, and I also want to show y'all what I do with it as far as propagation is concerned. And so let's get on with it. So basically, Sissoo spinach is, although it has spinach in its name, it's not an actual spinach as we know spinach to be. Sissoo is it's a Brazilian spinach, so it's a they call it Brazilian spinach, so it's also a tropical spinach variety. Has a high nutrient content. It what else about Sissoo? Basically has a high nutrient content. I like to eat it stir fry it. This type of spinach, you normally want to cook it. You don't want to eat it raw too often because it's high in oxalic acid. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this variety is very drought tolerant, heat tolerant. Doesn't seem to really need fertilization. Let's go check out some Sissoo spinach that I've already planted. And basically this is planted, let me get out of this sunlight. So this is planted in the same way that I'm gonna plant today. So you can see how thick that becomes. It creates a big bush. Here's some that's in a lower grow bag. So what I find that if you put about 4 to 5 in a grow bag, they'll fill in nicely. And it's a good companion plant. That's my main reason for wanting to plant it as a companion plant, but also because it's a high producer of green leaves. So if we look in this bowl here, you can see the roots already. Those roots weren't there. What I normally do is I just break a branch off. So basically this was a branch that I broke off. So I could literally just reach in here, pull a branch off, and get one of these. They snap easy. It's very tender. I sit it in water. These have been sitting in water for about, you can see the water in this bowl. They actually been in this bowl. So they've been sitting in that water for about 7 days or so, and you can see some nicely developed root systems. I didn't pluck all those branches at one time. I literally just pluck it as I'm eating it. So right here is Okinawan sweet potato. I also have madura in here. Just gonna pop some Sissoo spinach into the corners of the bags, or the grow bags. So let's try to do that. Actually, if we could sit this camera down, let's see. So it's a very, the leaves are very tender. I really like this variety. I try to be careful about the amounts I eat because you just never know with the oxalic acid, or however that's pronounced. I mean, even regular spinach has oxalic acid, so if you eat regular spinach, it's not really much to worry about. Just make sure you cook it. So you want to be sure to get that root system down into the soil. And it's, I mean, real simple. I probably might water it in once or twice, and after that, that thing is gonna root itself. So I'm gonna put, I don't want to put too many, so I'm gonna put about 4 like I normally do, because y'all saw how thick it was. And that was planted literally the same way as I'm doing right here. It also helps me to keep these, because the grow bags like to kind of come inward like that. And I want all the soil to be kind of in open air, if you get what I mean. I want it to be exposed to the sunlight, and then I'm going to mulch the soil. Well, this will act as a mulch. So I'm also going to plant this with my citrus trees. This helps to keep weeds out of the grow bags too, if you want to keep all the unnecessary growth out of there. Right, so I have 2 of them in. I mean, once you have one plant, you're gonna have Sissoo spinach forever. if you protect it during the winter, of course, and you just make sure you're growing it right. So we're on the last one here. I probably could put more, honestly. I'm gonna start lining them up around the rings. I mean, why not, right? Sorry about all the camera movement. This thing, the soil is kind of uneven. So I'm gonna just probably put them about 6 inches or so apart. I know they're gonna grow large, but I'm gonna end up propagating them in the near future anyway. So, you know, I could just break off large pieces and bring to my farm, so I can have a lot of leafy greens out there too. So that's that for this one. And then I'm gonna take y'all and we can plant with one of the citrus trees. And I'll call it a wrap after that, because I have so many that I need to actually plant. You can see some Sissoo right there growing in. I can honestly put one right here. So I'm gonna do that on my own, but I'm gonna walk around the garden and just see open spots and then pop the Sissoo spinach in as I see fit. This is Owari Satsuma. The sunlight has been having a strong effect on the grow bag soil. It's been drying it out, so I'm just gonna sit the Sissoo in here, and hopefully that Sissoo will work as a perfect mulch and keep that soil heavily shaded. So we have a few cuttings here. There's a sucker growing on it. Citrus tree. Alright, so there we are. Just gonna pop that Sissoo in there. I can see that the soil is definitely dry, so I haven't been having good fruit set on this tree. So if you're having areas, if you're having areas where it's, you're not getting as much production from your plants because of too much sunlight, that Sissoo can come in handy. I don't know how deep the root systems grow, but they may get large root systems, they may not, who knows. What I do know is this plant does not need much fertilization at all, so what I do fertilize the trees with, it definitely will help these plants. But other than that, I'm not concerned about feeding them. I'm just literally planting them and leaving them, and they survive. I've basically had a 100% success rate. I honestly probably don't even need to water them. I don't think I will, honestly. Well, I don't need to water them just from after transplanting, but I do have other plants in the grow bags that I do want to water, so I'll water them in those cases. But as far as me just watering them, because I transplanted them, I don't find that to be necessary, honestly. Especially depending on the amount you might be transplanting. See a good root system on that one. I'm just gonna basically plant this whole stem up to here. You can actually plant it horizontally like that. So they tend to root wherever you see the stems growing out. They'll send roots out from those areas, but it has to be in the water. They start producing roots after about 3 days. You actually don't need to even wait for it to root. You can just pop it into the soil, but I like to put it in there with a pre-established root system, so it just helps me to ensure that things will go well when I plant them, and I won't have to worry about replanting anything. But I've never noticed that I had to replant any Sissoo spinach ever. So I'm just gonna pop at least one more into here. And I'm hoping that this will work out well for Awari Satsuma in the near future when these Sissoo Spinach start overtaking the grow bag. I'm also going to plant it with my other citrus trees. I have Page Mandarin. I have Louisiana Sweet Hamlin. This is the Page Mandarin right here. I have Louisiana Sweet Hamlin. A few other varieties. So I'm just going to start planting those Sissoo just like that. And they literally just take over just like how we saw. So this is one Sissoo plant right here. Here's another one. That angled better. So this is another one. Then back here we have another one. So normally about 3, 4. Well, if you plant 4 in each corner, it gets the job done. But you can put more. Just be sure to harvest more frequently if you don't want the Sissoo to overtake. But like I said, this is growing with Madura. And this filled in that bag wonderfully. I mean, it looks great. And you can just come pop branches off, or you can, if you don't want to propagate anymore, just pluck it leaf by leaf. I normally bring a colander out and harvest. Or if I'm plucking branch by branch, I just grab a few branches, bring it indoors. And it works out well for me. The original Sissoo plant was in this area somewhere. And I was just breaking off branches. But the originals was over here. Next video we're gonna discuss longevity spinach, which is actually my favorite because it doesn't have oxalic acid and it can be eaten raw. It's also very tender. Let's see how tender these Sissoo spinach are. So if you just listen closely, you can hear the crunch sound. So it's very tender, very delicate, very healthy. Sissoo spinach, Brazilian spinach. It's not a spinach, but I recommend this spinach. Especially if you don't like the flavor of spinach. This one has a super mild flavor and you will not taste it in your cooking at all. At all. So that's that, y'all. See y'all in the next one. No Corota being pollinated.